thousands of black robots over the years, and they were all ready to form a unified robot force to destroy humanity. Then the transportals activated on the colony Syrinx had conquered, and a host of ravenous Clickers marched through, immediately attacking the robot forces. With PD and QT, Syrinx barely escaped this unexpected battle, and was forced to eradicate the transportal and retreat to Maratha, an Ildiran world where the robots were establishing a powerful base of operations. On Ildira, the Mage Imperator ordered Adar Zahn to launch a frantic program to rebuild the Solar Navy, erecting shipyards in orbit and diverting the resources of the Empire to the project. Zahn also made use of the innovative skills of the humans who had been forced to remain at Ildira, including Sullivan Gold and Tabitha Huck. With Gold's administrative abilities and Huck's engineering ideas, the manufacturing proceeded at a furious pace. Sullivan's companion Green Priest Colker felt isolated and confused. For a long time he had been cut off from his beloved Telink with other Green Priests, and even after he was given access to a Treeling, the sensation felt lacking to him. When he saw how the Ildirans, all Ildirans, were linked through Thism, he wanted to understand how it worked. Lenz Kithman rebuffed him, telling him that he could never grasp the Thism. But Nira's 5 half-breed children were able to show him the key. As Colker struggled to understand, he finally comprehended in a way he had never dreamed. Incredible mental vistas opened for him. Better still, he knew how to share his discovery. He converted Tabitha Huck and many of her co-workers at the shipyards, though Sullivan refused. Soon, with this unique synchronicity available, Tabitha and her crew led the Ildirans in phenomenally increased productivity. As the Solar Navy began to be restored, Jorach's daughter, Yazrach, formed a plan with Adar Zahn to begin recapturing lost Ildiran worlds, particularly Maratha, which had been taken over by the black robots. Yazrach convinced the human historian Anton Kolikos and rememberer Vaosh to accompany the military force. This was a terrifying prospect for them, since Anton and Vaosh had nearly died there in the robot takeover, and Vaosh had barely survived the isolation madness when the two of them had flown alone to Ildira. But they agreed to witness the events in order to record them in the Saga of Seven Suns. Reaching Maratha, the Solar Navy bombarded the robot base, then went to the ground to wipe out the last machine survivors. While they were embroiled in battle, a large Clickist swarm ship arrived and dispatched thousands of warriors, who also meant to destroy the black robots. After the battle was won, a tense moment followed when the Clickists insisted that they would re-inhabit all of their own worlds. But Zahn held his ground, asserting that Maratha had never been a Clickist planet, and the swarm ship departed. Shortly afterward, Syrinx and his black robot refugees arrived at what they expected to be a thriving base on Maratha, only to find utter devastation. Once again they fled, seeing their plans fall apart. The black robots and the Clickists were not the only threats to concern the Ildiran Empire. The mad designate Rusach, after suffering a severe head injury during a hydrogue attack on Hyrilka, had led a destructive but ultimately successful revolt to overthrow the Mage Imperator and establish his own Thism network. Unwilling to surrender in defeat, Rusach flew his ship directly into one of Hyrilka's suns. Instead of being incinerated, however, he was intercepted by the Pharaohs, fiery entities that lived within stars. Though the Ildiran Empire believed him dead, Rusach, who had become a Pharaohs incarnate, continued his work. In their war with the Hydrogues, the Pharaohs had suffered many terrible losses, millions of their fireballs eradicated, whole suns extinguished. But Rusach showed them new ways of fighting, and the Pharaohs swiftly began to inflict great damage upon the Hydrogues, weakening them before their battle with the allied forces around Earth. Gathering power, Rusach led the Pharaohs first to the splinter colony of Dobro, where he confronted former designate Udruch, who had betrayed him. The ravenous Pharaohs, needing to increase their numbers, burned Udruch and stole his soul fire to create more newborn fiery entities. Jorach's eldest noble